Hey guys, hope everyone's ready for another video in the series we like to call Underrated Throwers. Now today is a very special video. We got the 100th video in this series, and we got Turner Washington, the son of Anthony Washington, who was a world champ in 1999, 71-meter discus thrower, one of the best American discus throwers of all time, and one of the best discus throwers of all time. And today we're going to do his son. I already made a video about his dad. Now, I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Turner Washington on at least two occasions. One in New Mexico in 2022, and the other just at a meet. I think at like Mount Sac. I forget which one, but he's a ASU alum where he was coached by Brian Bluetrick, the best NCAA coach ever. He's a three-time NCAA champion, a two-time NCAA indoor champ, and the indoor NCAA record holder for men's shot put at 2185, which is the throw we're going to be analyzing. He's also a 66-meter, 32-centimeter discus thrower, and to my knowledge is still competing. He's a multiple-time Olympic and national qualifier and finalist, and also got selected for the USA in 2023 for Budapest for the discus squad. So highly decorated, still young, still competing. He had he had a chest injury. I'm pretty sure it was a pec injury last season. So I hope he's very healthy right now and is still competing. To my knowledge, he's still competing at least. I hope he is. Um, but he is right now currently coaching at ASU along with Ryan Whiting. And to my knowledge, a very just nice, down to earth person from the few conversations I've had with him. And yeah, one of the craziest athletes, one of the craziest technicians. And overall, I couldn't think of anyone better because he has one of my favorite techniques of all time. And I feel he is very deserving of the 100th episode in my series, if that's really that much of an honor. But right now, let's get into it. So, before we start, I'll link his height, weight, notable accomplishments, personal best in the video description as always. And I just want to thank all you guys for sticking with me through these 100 episodes, and there will be more to come. I already have several lined up for the next coming weeks. I might be uploading a little less because as a coach, I'm going to be starting to travel and stuff for meets and whatnot. So my posting, might be a little inconsistent. Oh, and I also got this brand new mic. And so I hope this makes the audio experience a lot better and not sound like I'm stuck in a basement. All right. So let's get started. All right. So let's just watch this a couple times. Super tight, super quick with the legs, super fluid. Love it. This is my deal. Just super linear, has enough rotational energy to get the job done. And I'm sorry, I never actually explained why I think he's underrated. One, I think he's underrated because he's a record holder, and I just don't think he gets a lot of, I wouldn't say respect, but attention, because I think he's one of the best dual eventers ever for discus and shot. Um, there's not many people who's almost throwing 22 and throwing 66. And in my opinion, this might be a little controversial. His shot, I think he should actually stuck with shot put than discus. I understand why he didn't, because the shot puts to make the shot put team in the U.S. is pretty much impossible. It's basically a fight for third place, and you're going to have to throw over 22 plus meters to do that. So I get why. It's a lot easier to make the discus squad than the shot put squad, but I don't know. I think he could have thrown 22 meters. Maybe he'll go back to shot one day. I hope he does because I love his shot put technique. I love his discus technique too. Um, so, and discus is in the blood. Just his dad 71 meter. So I hope he gets there one day. To 71, but 66 isn't nothing to shake your head about. Not many people can say they've thrown 66 meters. All right, but I think he's very underrated as a shot putter, and just as decorated as a NCAA athlete as he was, and still is, I guess. Well, he's not in the NCAA anymore, but yeah, like, oh god, I just love his technique, and that's also another reason I think he's underrated is the fact that he, in my opinion, has one of my top 5 favorite techniques. And the reason I say that is because it's just super simple, super fluid, super consistent. Um, doesn't do a lot of crazy things that can go wrong. He just does everything to a T perfectly, and just hits positions consistently. And that's why it's super repeatable. And that's what I look for when I look for technical models. There's either show my athletes or for me. When I threw. So we're gonna get into this. So let's just watch this one more time. God, I love this. All right, so let's get into it. Let me just skip ahead so I can see his full wind. Of course. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's get into the analysis. So we're here. Super, super simple wind. All right, hips under him, chest a little down. Blue Trick really, really, really likes to coach this. I haven't seen very many of his athletes not have a little bit of a bent over start. But if you notice, I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you looked at the side of a Turner Washington throw, you would be able to see it a lot more clearly. So he's kind of doing kind of like a little like good morning, not a good morning, RDO kind of thing. So it's not like his butt is sticking out and his chest is over. So he's more just kind of hinging at the hip a little. So his hip is still, pardon my voice crack. His hips, his hips are still under him, just a little. His hips are under him. All right, so that's important when you're doing a little bit of a chest down kind of start. I really like this. I don't normally teach it. I don't like to teach just chest upright because I believe it's a lot more consistent. However, this can lead to a lot more relaxation and a lot more fluidity with this kind of start. In my opinion, it's just a little harder to do for beginners to intermediate throwers. However, if you can pull it off, I don't mind it. But yeah, so that's just something to be careful of because it's very easy when you start a little bent over and you're not super experienced to break at the hips and not get over your left, and just a whole host of things can go wrong. All right. So, but he does a fantastic job of not doing that, which is why this went really far. Also, pretty wide stance. That's just a personal thing, honestly. It's not like it's super super duper wide. It looks comfortable for him. Obviously, it is because he does it. Um, Super straight arm like that. And I want you guys also to notice, so when he winds, he doesn't actually wind that far back. And I really like that for shot put. All right. Because I think the less you wind back, the easier it is to establish connection and the less things can go wrong. All right. And it uses less energy and less movement, less time, and it just makes everything super efficient. All right. So this is all you need. Just a little bit of this just to establish connection. All right. And what he does here, which I really like, is that with this left arm, he's going to establish a low point. All right. So he's going to be here. And you see how he kind of like just goes just a little bit down and he starts sinking over this left foot right here. And I really, really, really love this position. So this is a perfect example of what I think of when because I use a cue to help my athletes get over get over their lefts. And I'm speaking in terms of a right-handed thrower. And it's to get the shot put over the heel or shot put over the left foot. And he does a fantastic job of this. You see how he's pushing the shot put over the heel? I don't know if he's actually thinking about it, but he does a fantastic job of this. All right. And this is very easy to do in shot put. Obviously, you're going to have to probably use a little different cue in discus just because, you don't have a discus attached to your neck. But the same principle applies. It's to get the weight over the left. So it's just super simple. So I love the way he does this. By sinking down, pushing the shot over his left, and then keeping the right foot grounded as long as possible so he gets a tremendous stretch in his groins right here. All right. And that's going to create a big stretch reflex that's going to snap his hips around. All right. So when he does this, his sweep leg or his right leg, if you notice, his right. Oh, damn it. All right, there we go. His left foot is facing 90, and now his right foot's starting to pick up. Super patient out the back. All right, really, really love that. Armpit over knee, over foot, super balanced. All right, and this is a super hard position to hit, but it's probably one of the most ideal. It's this and like gird canter and discus is like what I picture when I think of the reverse V that Vestin talks about all the time. And it's to just get that stretch. And you get that stretch by don't pick up this right foot until you hit 90 with 90 degrees or just straight to the side with your left foot. And then with this sweep leg, what he's going to do is the sweep leg is going to come out and around. All right, so let's see that right here. So you see how it does, like kind of like he's kicking with a skateboard right here. So it sweeps out and then around, and he gets a nice even sweep right here. Not too wide, not too narrow, just perfect right here. And then what he does is, I like to coach pushing off the left foot to get a sprint. He's most likely thinking of really, well, he's probably not thinking at all. But I'm assuming, because there's multiple ways to think of the sprint, and I think if I haven't done a video, let me know in the comments, because I can talk for hours about this, because there's a lot of ways to think about the sprint or the flight phase in the shot put and discus. I like to think of it as just pushing off the left foot, just because, in my opinion, it's just a lot simpler to do. However, when you get really good and you use this kind of style of just like super stretchy and stuff, and your knee is super low to the ground, your left knee, you'll just kind of just go. You don't actually have to push. Your body will just naturally push off by itself. So you don't actively have to push. But for like beginners and people that have trouble being aggressive through the ring, I just like to coach a push, like you're coming off blocks in a sprint, just to get them more aggressive. But eventually you don't have to think about it, and you just kind of just do it. But so he does a fantastic job of that. I really love also what he does with this left arm. All right, so left arm, he's following it with his eyes, so that makes him not cut off this part. So one of the biggest things I see in beginners is that they skip this actual turn part and they just go straight to this part. So they skip the 180 right here. All right, they skip the 180 and just like the turn over their left. And when they do that, they miss on the entire angular momentum. Their hips will break and they'll just fall into the middle of the ring. All right, so it's very important, and he does a fantastic job of this, turning and then going linear. All right, so you just have to be super patient, and he has amazing tempo, amazing speed. Obviously, he's one of the fastest shot putters I've ever seen in person. And I've seen some 22 plus meter guys. I've seen several elite guys, and he stands out. Him and Geist, and I haven't seen Kovacs in person, but him and Geist are the fastest I've seen in person, at least. All right, so yeah, he's a tremendous athlete. All right, so he gets here, fantastic job. So with this left arm, he turns, left foot stops. So the left foot stops because he has his weight over it. And when you sink and have your weight over your left foot, the left foot will stop, it will plant. And that will allow the right foot and the sweep leg to get around. And that's what creates this separation. All right. I don't really like this tilt, but it's because he started a little bent over just to get a little more of an orbit. It's not crazy, but I like to personally coach a little flatter shoulders because I don't like that high of a release point in shot put compared to discus. But I mean, it's not like this is terrible. It's not like his elbows up here or anything. So it's pretty much flat. It doesn't really matter that much. It's more just a nitpicky thing. And also, he threw an NCAA record, so screw it, I guess. This technique obviously works for him. And it's not like he's doing anything weird or anything to make the orbit. It's just a natural orbit, so it's fine. All right, but I also really love he gets here off the left foot. The left side holds, lets the sweep get around. And you notice when he does this, so he's not sweeping up. His sweep leg goes straight down. So as he sprints across the ring, the right foot and the sweep leg go down. And that one is because it's a shorter circle, so you need to get down faster to land in the middle. Two, I think he's to my memory, he's 6'4" or something. He's tall. So he can't use that much of the ring as someone like, Reese Hoffer or Joe Kovacs. Three, it just makes you faster. The less airtime you can have, now everyone has to have a little bit of airtime where you're just walking. All right, but the less airtime you have in the middle, the better. All right, so that's why I really like this sweep down, especially in shot put. All right, in discus, there has to be a little more depending on how tall you are. Just because it's a bigger ring, so you have more area to cover. So, but in shot put, I like super condensed, short, more linear technique, and in discus, I personally like a lot more rotational technique, just because of the just the levers and everything's different. And I believe that when you're too rotational in shot put, and you don't have enough linear energy, you're not going to get a lot into the shot put, which is why I think uh, doing glide drills are super valuable and stuff. So, but I'm going to get off that tangent real quick. I can do a video on that just about how to get linear. But he's getting linear by holding the chest to the middle. All right, letting the sweep leg come through while holding his left side. And that's what creates his direction, his linear energy. All right, so look at where his left foot is pointed. Let's see. Left foot pointed somewhere around there. Where does he go? That way. And look at where he releases. His elbow's here. So he releases in the direction that his foot was throwing. All right, and that's what you want. Okay, and we're going to get to that in a second, but I really love that. So it's very important, and this happens in a very split second. All right, so the better you are and the faster you are, the less you're going to notice. They'll hold the chest, but when you slow it down, you want to hold the left side just long enough for this sweep leg to come through to the middle. And you have to time it perfectly, which is what he does really nice here, is as the left foot leaves the ground, the right foot is still in the air. And then when the right foot grounds, the left foot is already where the right foot is. So they're in line. All right, so that's very good. I see a lot of beginners, and this is how you know you don't really get a lot of power out the back, is when the right foot grounds, if your left foot is still either on the ground or still near the back of the ring, you're losing so much power, and it's going to cause your left leg to be super late to the front, and it's going to cause you to be super open and you're not going to get any separation, you're not going to get any power, and chances are you're going to throw that way and sector a lot, and you're not going to get a good punch on the shot. All right, so that's why it's super important to hold the middle. And what hold the middle, I mean, just stop your left side. Now, I really like this open left arm. I love the way he uses this left arm. All right, but if you notice when he does this, excuse me, um, when he does this, he is not ripping his left arm. All right, it's more of a guide, and it's more. I like to think of the left arm as making sure the left arm doesn't inhibit your rotational energy and basically doesn't inhibit your right side. So I like to think of it just clearing it out of the way and then holding it and allowing your right side to work free of inhibition. All right. So, and he does a fantastic job of that. I think this is about as open as I would like. If his left arm was any more open, he would either go that way, he would over rotate, and the over rotation might from the legs might cause that, or yanking the left arm around as he turns out the back would cause the over rotation, which means his direction is misaligned, so he's not getting all his forces perfectly lined up as they should be. All right, so that's very important, but he does a fantastic job of that. I really love how stacked and balanced he is here. Oh my god, that's a textbook position right there. All right. And this is another thing I really love and what I really coach is having this left foot below the left knee. I personally don't like the left foot above the left knee. I know some people do that, although like Adam Nelson and Gerd Cantor, two of my favorite throwers ever. So it's not like it's a bad thing, but you just have to be one, super patient with your upper body, two, an absolute animal, and being able to be that fast to actually get your left foot down still on time. But in shot put, I really love just, and discus actually, just keeping the feet as low to the ground as possible. And because it will just make everything faster, sharper, and tighter. All right, all your movements. All right, so he does a fantastic job of that. He also does a fantastic job, as you can see here, his heel doesn't drop, so his right heel doesn't drop. And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow for free rotation and easy rotation. Now he does kind of stop his right foot to allow his left foot to kind of get down, which I personally don't like. I like when this left foot lands that the right foot is also facing 90. I personally don't like that. However, it is a style thing. People can get away with it. So if people have trouble landing open and not feeling a lot of separation, holding the right foot here while the left foot grounds, and then this only works if the if the upper body stays back. All right. The reason I don't like this is because when a lot of people stop their right foot, one, they don't do it on purpose, which as someone at this level, I'm assuming he's doing this on purpose because some people do. When people don't try to do this on purpose, it's usually because they just don't rotate. And so what happens, and the reason I don't like this is because when I see a lot of beginners and intermediate throwers do it, they just never ever turn their right side, and so they just kind of throw with their upper body, and they don't actually get their hips all the way through. But if you do this, you have to do what Turner's doing right here, which is being super patient, allowing this left foot to ground at the front and then turn. And then he does a good job of turning through it. I think he could have turned just a little bit more. I believe that once the right foot touches in the middle, it has to keep turning through the entire throw, and I think that just leads to a more grounded finish. I think you work the ground a lot better, and it just makes everything a lot more fluid and a lot less complicated. However, I'm not knocking this. Obviously, it works for him. It's worked for several other people throughout history. There have been several 22-meter throwers who have thrown like this. It's just not what I coach, but, excuse me, I can't argue with it. So yeah, that would be like my only blight, I guess, on this technique. But that's a super minor, just kind of personal little niggle for me. But all right, gets here, super nice. And I think he could have just turned his foot and stayed grounded just a little longer. I feel like the shot kind of separates from his neck just a little too early because he just didn't keep turning his right. But that's either near or there. But he saves this throw beautifully by staying super patient, reaching over the toe board. And this block is beautiful. He's still looking at the shot put. It's in his hand. And then gets this last little reach out. So he gets super nice over the toe board. Isn't super high in the air. He kind of just slides his foot and reverses. And he's just super on balance. So let's look where the left foot lands. Left foot lands there. Where does he reverse? Right there. So he still turns through it, gets most of the pretty much all the energy into the shot. I just think this could have been a little further, which is actually scary to believe that this could have been further. But yeah, overall, fantastic technique, fantastic technician. I'd highly recommend watching Turner Washington if you're a super mobile thrower that is, or just looking on how to be fluid through the throw. Turner is a very, very solid technical model to have. Again, the only thing I would personally change, not that I know it more than Brian Bluetrick or anything, or Turner. This is just my personal beliefs that, like a Joe Kovacs or Ryan Krauser, just don't stop the right foot. But, that's if that's a little minor thing and one of the only minor things I can critique in this throw, that's a pretty solid throw because I'm usually very critical, especially the more I like someone, the more critical I am. So, yeah, even though, Turner, I like you a lot. So, yeah, overall, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. I tried to be a lot more technical in these videos from now on, and I hope you guys enjoy that. If you want me to make like two versions of like a super duper technical breakdown and then just like a kind of like beginner one, I can do two versions of the same video, like one advanced, one beginner level. Let me know in the comments if you would like that for these videos and stuff. And I have more videos to come. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, again, I'll link his personal best, height, weight, and notable accomplishments in the video description. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day. See y'all later.